Ever looked at that iconic gleam on a wrist and wondered if it's, well, more than just a status symbol?
Mm-hmm.
Could a Rolex actually be a smart place to put your money?
It's the big question, isn't it?
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the material you've provided to truly unpack the world of Rolex as an investment. We'll be dissecting the market, zeroing in on specific models.
And really getting into what it takes to make a savvy purchase in this, let's face it, unique asset class.
Exactly.
Our mission really is to cut through some of the hype that surrounds luxury watches. We need to look squarely at the market outlook for 2025
Yeah.
and uncover the critical factors that determine if a Rolex will just hold its value or if it might actually, appreciate.
Right. Will it grow?
We'll explore whether now presents a strategic buying opportunity and, maybe most importantly for you, which specific models might offer the best potential return.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Rolex. It's often called horological excellence in the insights you've shared.
It's more than just a watch brand.
Totally. It transcends timepieces, becomes this global icon.
Yeah.
You see it on royalty, heads of state, athletes, celebrities.
It consistently ranks as one of the world's most reputable brands, period.
But for an investor, the big question is, does a luxury item like this typically lose value the moment you buy it? Like a car.
That's the common assumption with luxury goods, but Rolex is different.
Okay, let's unpack this. Does Rolex lose value? The sources overwhelmingly say no, but that's just the beginning of the story.
It really is. And what's truly fascinating here is how these luxury watches are carving out their own space. A legitimate alternative asset class.
Alternative, right. Not stocks, not bonds.
Exactly. Our research highlights Rolex, alongside Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet, as the big three of collectible timepieces.
The heavy hitters.
And here's a stat that might surprise you. Between 2018 and 2025, the secondary market for these watches actually outperformed the S&P 500.
Wow. Outperformed the stock market benchmark.
Yeah. And across the broader luxury watch category over the last decade, they've been a better investment than fine wine, designer handbags, art, even traditional jewelry.
That's a powerful statement, especially considering where we are now. What about the current market pulse heading into 2025?
Good question.
The material acknowledges a recent dip. Secondary market prices have declined since March 2022, dropped from an average of maybe $38,000 down to around $26,000.
That's broadly correct, yes. It is a correction.
Sounds significant.
It is, but it's vital to add nuance. When we look at these shorter-term averages, say 1 month, 3 months, 6, 12, the rate of decline is actually slowing down.
Ah, okay, so it's stabilizing.
Seems that way. It suggests stabilization. And crucially, even with this recent dip, the market is still up a remarkable 40% over the last 5 years.
40% over 5 years is still pretty solid, even with the pullback.
Very solid. And another key insight for anyone thinking about investing, the secondhand Rolex market isn't tightly correlated to the S&P 500.
Meaning it doesn't just follow the stock market up and down.
Exactly. That lack of tight correlation makes it compelling for diversifying an investment portfolio. It could act as a potential hedge.
So understanding this stabilization and the non-correlation, a lot of people might be thinking, does this current dip mean now is a great time to buy a Rolex at a discount?
Well,
The sources suggest when interest rates drop and the economy heats up, your investment could swell. Is that the general feeling?
it's definitely a prominent perspective right now. The argument is, the slowdown was partly fueled by rising interest rates, economic uncertainty.
Makes sense.
So as those conditions maybe ease up, consumer confidence, discretionary spending, particularly on luxury assets, that tends to rebound.
So buying in the downturn could position you well.
For a long-term investor, often yes. Buying during a downturn can position them well for future appreciation. But, there's never a guarantee in any market.
Of course. Always a risk. Now let's dive into the forces at play here. Demand, secondary markets, public sentiment.
The core drivers.
Okay, demand. Rolex produces, just over 1 million watches a year? Morgan Stanley estimates that.
Yes.
Which might sound like a lot, maybe compared to Patek Philippe's 68,000 or so.
It does sound like a lot initially.
But the actual demand for Rolex feels way more intense than that number suggests, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The perception of supply versus demand is often misleading. Despite that million-watch figure, Rolex holds roughly 30% of the market share among the top Swiss brands.
30% is huge.
It is. But the real story, the one you hear about, is the waiting lists.
The infamous waiting lists.
Typically 1 to 2 years for many models, Up to 5 years, potentially, for something like a Daytona.
5 years.
Combine that with the sheer robustness of the secondary market.
Right.
It's just clear evidence that demand continues to massively outstrip supply at the retail level.
Right, which explains the secondary market premium.
Precisely. The secondary market isn't just a place to buy. It thrives because the retail price, the MRRP, it becomes almost irrelevant when you're facing years on a list.
People pay for access.
Exactly. Collectors pay a premium for access and immediate gratification. And unless Rolex fundamentally changes its whole business model, which seems unlikely, this trend is probably going to continue.
Where watches appreciate fast just because you can get them now.
It fuels those secondary market prices.
It's hard to forget the Rolex mania we saw, well, is it 2021, 2022?
Oh, yeah, that was something else.
Factories stopping during the pandemic, this surge in investment interest, what actually happened there, and has sentiment really shifted?
That period was exceptional, definitely. Factors converged. But reports now, like from Morgan Stanley, suggest that while demand is over, supply is maybe better able to meet demand now.
Yeah.
And we can't ignore the broader economic headwinds we touched on. Recession fears, rising interest rates.
Right, interest rates again.
When rates are around 5%, borrowing for an asset that might not appreciate by at least that much, well, some see that as unwise capital allocation.
It makes you think twice.
This raises an important question. How much do macroeconomic factors like interest rates influence a luxury asset market like Rolex, and what does that mean for your potential investment timing?
That's a crucial consideration. So, okay, against this backdrop, how do you actually get into this market?
The entry points.
It brings us to that classic dilemma. Try and buy new from an authorized dealer in AD, or go straight to the secondary market.
The eternal question.
If you buy new, you get it at the manufacturer's recommended retail price, the MRRP, potentially instant profit, right? Because supply is so limited.
Potentially.
But those waiting lists
Right.
and needing to build a relationship with the AD, maybe buying other things first.
It's not a slam dunk flip by any means. Requires patience, maybe extra spending.
Definitely not easy.
On the other hand, pre-owned, you pay that premium we talked about, say $12,500 for a watch with a $10,000 MRRP.
But you get it now.
You get it now, immediate access. So if we analyze these two scenarios, just purely as investments over maybe a couple of years, both can yield similar profits. Roughly $2,500 to $2,625 profit on that $10,000 to $12,500 initial investment in our example.
So the end result might be similar.
It could be, but the trade-offs are clear. New, no guarantee you get the watch you want, lots of time, relationship building.
Right. Uncertainty.
Pre-owned, you tie up more capital up front, but you get immediate ownership, certainty about the specific watch.
Certainty versus capital.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights the opportunity cost in any investment.
What you give up.
Exactly. Whether it's the time spent on a waiting list or the extra capital tied up for immediate access, it's about weighing that certainty against the cost.
That makes sense. So assuming you decide to buy, what actually makes one Rolex appreciate more than another? It's not just the brand name, is it?
No, far from it. There are key factors.
So if you're looking to invest, what really makes one stand out? I bet condition is number one.
Condition is paramount, yes. Pristine is generally what you want. Well, here's a fascinating exception. For vintage Rolexes, pre-1980s, something called a tropical dial.
Tropical, sun-faded.
Exactly, sun-faded. It's technically a flaw, but its rarity makes it highly desirable and adds significant value.
Wow. Okay, so a flaw can be a good thing. What else?
Second, original parts. Crucial for vintage pieces. Having circa-correct parts, both visible and internal.
Meaning parts from the right time period.
Correct. It shows the watch hasn't been, tampered with using modern replacements. Authenticity of the era.
Got it. Keep it original.
Third, model and rarity. Some models were just made in smaller numbers, like certain Submariner series. Fewer produced usually means higher value down the line.
Simple supply and demand.
Pretty much. Fourth, reference. This gets really specific.
Like the exact model number.
Yes, but it denotes details, specific colors, bezels, hands. These eccentricities can create huge demand among collectors and drive up value significantly.
The little details matter.
A lot.
Immensely.
And finally, original box and papers. Not strictly essential for the watch to be real.
But good to have.
Definitely. It will likely increase the resale value. Collectors love the full set.
Yeah, it's a lot to check. What about protecting the investment once you have it? Maintenance.
Absolutely key. Regular servicing. Rolex generally recommends every 10 years, but it depends on use.
Keeps it running well, looking good.
Right. And for modern models, restoration to a factory finish is often possible if it's picked up scratches.
Ah, scratches. Now, this next point is interesting. Deep dings are usually left right, but surface scratches can be polished out.
Correct. During a service, they can often remove light scratches.
However, some collectors prefer to keep the battle scars.
They do. That patina, the story, maybe it belonged to someone notable. It can add character, even value.
So you can ask Rolex not to polish it.
Yes, they offer no polishing, no finish restoration upon request for those who cherish that history.
That's cool, but they're built tough, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oyster steel, gold, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezels. These materials are incredibly hard-wearing. They're designed to last, to be worn and enjoyed.
Okay, let's cut to the chase then. For people looking to maybe invest in 2025, which specific models are the sources highlighting?
All right, the top contenders.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You might be surprised by some of these,
Yeah.
especially this trend towards older models.
Absolutely. A few consistently stand out. First, the Submariner. Always a blue-chip investment.
The classic dive watch.
Right. And interestingly, when they released the new 41mm versions in 2020 and stopped the 40mm,
Yeah.
that actually boosted interest in prices in the older, discontinued 40mm models. Plus, the James Bond connection, the deep-sea dive history. It all adds up.
Iconic status helps. What's next?
The day date. The President watch.
Ah, yes. Gold platinum.
Pure symbol of power, made from precious materials. But for collectors, the real hunt is for the 70s, 80s Stella dials.
Stella dial.
These incredible enamel dials in bright, distinctive shades. Orange, turquoise, pink, yellow. Highly collectible, command big premiums now.
Wow. Okay, colorful investment.
Then, the Oyster Perpetual. Historically, maybe overlooked a bit, seen as entry-level.
Right.
But changes in 2020, new movement, those bright dial colors, again, created huge buzz.
That turquoise OP was everywhere for a while.
It really was. And that renewed interest has boosted discontinued models, like the Oyster Perpetual 39, reference a 14300. Its value on the open market has seen a strong increase.
So don't ignore the OP. What about the big one? The Daytona.
Can't forget the Daytona, the iconic racing watch.
The stories are legendary. The unicorn, a white gold one.
Yeah, it sold for almost 6 million Swiss francs in 2021, believed to be the only one like it. Shows the extreme potential.
And Paul Newman, of course.
The Paul Newman connection is huge. Other examples like the Golden Pagoda, it just consistently performs. But that waiting list, up to 5 years new.
Patience required. Or a big wallet on the secondary market.
Exactly. Then the GMT Master and GMT Master 2, developed with Pan Am for pilots.
The Pepsi bezel. Red and blue.
That's the one. The original GMT Master. The toothache allows independent hour hand adjustment. And sometimes custom engraving on these can actually increase rarity and value.
Interesting. Okay, what else stands out?
The Sea Dweller, specifically reference 18660.
The Serious Diver's watch. Helium escape valve.
That's it, a pioneer. The 16660, launched 78, had an enhanced valve, sapphire crystal. Fewer were sold compared to subs.
Making it rare now.
Significantly enhances its rarity and value. Prices are often in the, say, £6,000 to £9,000 range for a good one now.
Okay. Bit more niche.
A bit. Similar is the Milgauss, designed for scientists, people working near magnetic fields.
Right, the lightning bolt hand.
Unique features. Tinted crystal, that orange lightning bolt second hand. Internal Faraday cage. Its specific purpose and make it a cool, often rewarding investment.
Love that orange hand.
Then there's the Air King, Aviator's watch, the last of the original Air series still going.
Any specific version?
The highly prized double red dial version is seen as the rarest and most collectible. Shows how tiny details drive value.
Double red. Okay, one more.
Finally, the Explorer and Explorer 2. Rugged adventure watches.
Built tough.
Luminous hands, numbers, that tough 904L steel, famed wearers like Don Draper and Mad Men, descriptions matching Bond's watch in the books. It all adds to the allure.
The story matters.
It often does. And a general observation, professional sports watches, like most of these, tend to perform better at auction than the lower spec, simpler models.
Good tip. So with all this potential, what's the takeaway for the long game?
Patience seems key.
The material shared that incredible anecdote. U.S. Air Force vet buys a Daytona for $345 in the 70s.
An amazing story.
Keeps it unworn, box, papers, everything. In 2020, valued at over $700,000.
Unbelievable return.
And even without pristine condition and papers, still maybe $200,000.
Still incredible.
So what does this all mean? The sources strongly suggest selling a Rolex short-term, even if it appreciated quickly. Means throwing away potentially huge future earning power. A small profit today could be thousands, tens of thousands more in 10, 20, 30 years.
It really highlights the long-term perspective needed for this kind of asset. It's not usually a quick flip for maximum gain.
But what if you need cash short-term but don't want to sell the watch?
That's where an alternative mention comes in. From a pawnbroking expert, actually. Pawning.
Pawning your Rolex.
As a way to, quote, unlock the value of your Rolex watches in the short term while keeping hold of them for the long-term investment.
Interesting angle. A way to get liquidity without selling the asset.
Potentially, yes. But circling back to prudent investment advice.
Always crucial.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Meticulously. Check condition, rarity, and crucially, authenticity. Fakes are unfortunately common.
Buyer beware. Always.
Always. Get it verified if you're not buying from a totally trusted source.
And finally, maybe the most important advice for you, the listener, the potential investor.
Yeah.
Buy a watch that you actually like.
Oh, absolutely. This is key.
It ensures you're happy to own it, to wear it, to cherish it. Makes the wait for market appreciation, if that's your goal, much more enjoyable.
It becomes more than just an investment then. It's something personal you value.
So wrapping up, we've really seen that investing in a Rolex is, well, it's far more nuanced than just buying a fancy watch, isn't it?
Much more. It's understanding market cycles, appreciating rarity, the subtle details, making an informed choice.
It has to align with your goals.
Indeed. And while no investment is ever without risk, Rolex's brand power, that exclusivity, and its consistent track record of appreciation, it makes it a unique contender in luxury assets.
An investment you can wear.
And often passed down through generations.
Okay, here's where it gets really thought-provoking. If a Rolex can outpace the S&P 500, turn a few $100s into hundreds of thousands over decades, what other overlooked, maybe even wearable assets might you be holding on to right now just waiting for their moment to shine?
That's something to ponder.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating, intricate world of Rolex investments. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.